Hello fellow astrophotographers and welcome back to our channel. Today I'm very excited to announce the release of new innovative type of flat panels called Observatory Flat Panel. If you're following our YouTube channel, you might have seen our previous video where we tested the prototype unit on our 10-inch RC telescope. I have put the link to that video in the description. Now that the panels are ready to be released, let's take a closer look. At first glance, it might look quite similar to our standard flat panels. It has a built-in LED panel, optional integrated heater, integrated magnets for a snapshot system, compression ring so you can simply attach it by hand tightening the knob, and it also has the same ports layout with 12 volts input, USB-C, and accessory port for ASIAIR cable and other accessories. You can also control it by using the same software, so no additional ASCOM driver or control panel is required. So you might say, what sets it apart from the standard flat panels? Let me demonstrate. Our standard flat panels open towards the front, swinging all the way around towards the back. This new design has different motor axis orientation pointing towards the front, so the flat panel actually opens towards the side, like so. Now this design might seem a bit unconventional, but there's good reason behind it, and it's also in the name of the product. It's especially optimized for usage in observatories. In remote or backyard observatories, you are quite often limited with the amount of space around the pier or tripod. And this is also the case in my observatory. When RC is in its parked position, the clearance between the observatory wall and the front of the tube is too small for a flat panel. It would hit the wall when opening or closing, potentially damaging the equipment. The same might apply if you're hosting your telescope in dome observatory, where the clearance between the dome roof and the front of the tube is too small. And now the third use case is if you're hosting your setup in a remote hosting facility where you're limited by the total length of your setup. I've talked about this with Bray Falls of Starfront observatories, and he noted that this type of design would enable them to have more dense pier arrangement, and also it would be beneficial for customers because they can choose more affordable pier category, making total cost of the hosting smaller. Now let's attach the flat panel to our RC telescope and talk about some additional details. Okay, the panel is attached. It's quite slim and it does not increase the total length of the setup when opening and closing, as mentioned before. If we just put the standard flat panel design like this in comparison, you can see that this increases the total length of the setup quite a lot when opening and closing. With standard flat panels, you also usually have to worry about the gear attached behind the end of the tube. Let me quickly demonstrate this. If I attached the flat panel to MiniCat like this, it would hit the autofocuser when opening, or if it was oriented pointing upwards, it could hit the guide scope. With sideways motion, that is not an issue, but you do have to pay attention to the position of the guide scope so you don't block it when the panel is opened. In my case, I can't have the panel in this position if the guide scope was on the bottom of the tube, but it can be on the top or on the side. In the comments of the previous video, some of you have argued that this design could act as a sail in windy conditions. While this is possible, in my opinion, imaging in windy conditions is suboptimal even without the flat panel catching gusts. So personally, I avoid imaging in such conditions and have not noticed any impact on image quality while testing the panel on my 10-inch RC. Now, one of the concerns was also the balance on the declination axis. However, this can be easily managed by orienting the observatory flat panel so it points towards the saddle of the mount head when opened. This way it's symmetric on the declination axis, and it's not affecting the balance in one or the other direction in any way. This is also the recommended mounting configuration, because if panel points towards the saddle, it's out of the way and does not hit anything when the mount is moving around. Let me just quickly demonstrate this with the hyperlapse of mount movement. We will be offering observatory flat panels for telescopes up to 10 inches in size, and the pricing will be similar to our standard flat panels, keeping it affordable. Now, to finish this video off, let's check out the image which was taken during the final testing phases of observatory flat panels. Enjoy! If you have any questions, do not hesitate to comment below. Stay tuned, and as always, clear skies. I almost forgot to mention, you can now pre-order the new observatory flat panels in our webshop. I've included the link in the video description. They are available for a wide range of telescopes, from small refractors like William Optics RedCat 51 up to 10-inch reflectors. This means they are also compatible with the same telescopes listed for the Flat Panel 2 in our webshop.